Hi there folks, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you a wee recipe we can use the standard seitan that I've showed you on the previous video for. And this one is to make seitan wings, or as my wife likes to call them, fallen angels. These are delicious. Please, if there's one recipe I mind you make this. They are yummy. So let's crack on. So then, this particular recipe requires one full batch of my standard seitan recipe, which, as I've said, I've already shown you how to make in the previous video. So what you see here is half the amount, because it just makes it easier to put it on the film and on the board, but it's one entire batch you're looking for, so twice what you see. So once we have our seitan out of its normal marinade from its normal spice setup, we need to take and cut these into chicken wing size chunks. You can see roughly the sort of size that I'm chopping up into here, sort of 1.5 to 2 inch sort of squares, just the perfect sort of bite size amounts. And once we have all of them chopped up, just transfer them back into some sort of storage container. I'm using a small casserole here, but whatever you want to store them in until we get everything else prepped and ready. So first up, we're going to start preparing our brine, and we're going to need 1/3 of a cup of salt, followed by 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar. Then that's followed by 1 bay leaf and 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, chili flakes. And now we want to measure out 1.25 litres of water. I take it from the kettle because you can pre-boil it, and it just means it's warmer to start off with when you stick it in the pot. Transfer that over into your pot and bring it to the boil. And whilst the water's coming to temperature, add 80 millilitres, 1/3 of a cup of orange juice to your water, and then add the rest of the ingredients that you've already prepared for the brine. As soon as you've got it to the boil and everything's dissolved into the brine, you can then remove it from the heat and add it to your seitan that you've got in your casserole dish. Now, the eagle-eyed of you will notice there's a lot more seitan in this dish than there was in the previous clip. That's because I've now got the full batch, all 6 portions in this dish, because it was now easy enough to actually let you see it all on camera. So just add that brine solution to the dish, and then we're going to set this aside basically for as long as possible, ideally overnight, and even the full 24 hours will do, but at minimum a few hours, just so this can soak in and really get the flavour in it. But the longer the better, within reason. And now that we have our seitan marinating in our brine, we can prepare the batter. Now I'm using Doritos Chili Heatwave here as the crisps option. They just give a really rounded flavour, and I would suggest using them over any other crisp out there for this particular recipe. It just gives such a nice flavour addition to it. Now you can see me breaking them up here with my hand to get the cup, but if you can't be bothered with that falafel, you're going to be talking around about 80 grams of Doritos will give you your 1 cup. But just break them up with your hand into your cup. If you want to do the measure, just measure out 80 grams. So now, into a large mixing bowl, take and add 2 cups of plain flour, or for any Americans out there, all-purpose flour. Then add your Doritos Chili Heatwave, or any other brand that you feel suitable you wish to use, to your flour. And to that we want to add 1/4 cup of cornmeal, or if pushed to find cornmeal, because I struggled a wee bit personally myself when I'm looking for this, you can add polenta instead. But cornmeal is ideally what you're looking for. Followed by 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. And mixed into the bowl is 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Followed by half a teaspoon of baking powder. And then 2 teaspoons of salt. And the last of the dry ingredients is 2 teaspoons of cracked black pepper. Now, for cracked black pepper, we're looking for something in between whole pepper and ground pepper. So stick it in a mortar and pestle and just lightly break it up so that we've got some breakage, but not so much as if it was coming out of an actual pepper grinder. And then just give everything a quick whisk just to mix it all together. So now in preparation of us starting to cook, we can take some cooking oil and transfer it into a pot ready to be heated up. Now I tend to reuse my cooking oil, so what you're seeing here is me just transferring it out my mason type jar and back into the pot ready for getting going. So as this recipe feeds 6 and there's actually only 3 in our household, what I'm doing here is just splitting my portion into 2. So depending on how many's in your household, depending on how often you're going to be using it, it's up to you what you do, but this is exactly what I'm doing here. It's just splitting it into 2 so we can have one batch one night and the following night we can have our second batch. Because what's better than fallen angels? Fallen angels 2 nights in a row. When splitting it up, all I did was eyeball and look for pieces of about the same sort of size as I transferred them to each of the separate bowls. But as you'll see from the weights here, 1250 versus 1257 grams, they worked out about equal size portions, so eyeballing is good enough, you don't actually have to weigh it. So the portion that I'm using the following night, all I did was put that straight back in the brine so I can bring it out when I'm going to use it. But the portion that I'm using just now, that there, we then take and transfer that to some kitchen roll. We then pat that down with some kitchen roll on the top as well, just to take any of the excess moisture off the outer surfaces. So this is personal choice. Because I'm splitting this over 2 nights, you can, if you want, just pour out the entire portion of buttermilk, which is 300 millilitres, and then transfer what you don't use to the following night, or you can split it in half and pour out 150 mils. I've went and poured out the entire lot, and I'll just store the buttermilk that I don't use in the bowl until tomorrow night. As you can see here, I've created myself a batter station where we take our seitan piece with our right hand, put it into our buttermilk, transfer it now into the batter mix, and then using my left hand, I'll start putting the batter all over it and just roll the seitan around if I need to, and then transfer this up to the drying rack. That way it keeps one hand only in the milk, the other hand only in the batter, and I don't get any cross-contamination of the two into each other. And now it's just a case of repeat the process over and over. Right hand takes the seitan, puts it into the buttermilk, takes it to the batter, drops it into the batter without touching it. Left hand then rolls it around in the batter, drops the batter over the top, transfers it to the rack. Once we've completed this, we're going to let them settle up and dry for around about 25 minutes to half an hour. So once we're most of the way there in the drying period, we can get our oil onto the heat. So now we wish to heat our oil to 180 degrees Celsius, and as you can hear here, that's my alarm telling me that it's reached 180 degrees, so I just remove my thermometer using the tongs. We're then going to put our seitan into our hot oil, a batch size of 5, maybe 6 pieces at the very most for this size of pan. Reason for that is we don't want our oil temperature dropping too much as we put the seitan in it, so it's small batches. Cook for 3 minutes, and once the 3 minutes has passed, we take them out and put them onto the drying rack to cool. Bring our oil back up to temperature, again 180 degrees Celsius. Use the thermometer. Do not touch the thermometer with your hand. Make sure you're removing it with tongs, and do another batch over and over until we're ready. And as they're drying out on your rack, grab yourself your salt grinder and just grind a little bit of salt over the top of your fallen angels. And if you really, really, really want to appreciate the taste of these, make yourself some buttermilk waffles, which I can show you in another video, the recipe for these ones. Get a dod of butter, slap it on top, and then get your wings and add them to that, just as you see here. Once your wings are on top, pour oodles of maple syrup or golden syrup if that's your preference, but the maple syrup just on this brings out so many of the flavours. That's the one I go with, but your choice, your food, do what you like. So, time to tuck in. As I say, the wife calls these fallen angels, and to be honest, they bloody well are. Why fallen angels? Satan's wings. Please make this. Please, 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 please make this dish. Catch you later.